do not have what they call emotions oxygen in the atmosphere. The medium in which animal life breathes is not in that soulless place. Yellow plains under white-hot blue skies, metal cities controlled by the elders who are heads in bottles. Fastest brains preserved forever. Only form of immortality open to the insect people of Minround. An intricate bureaucracy wired to the control brains directs all movement. Even so, there's a devious underground operating through telepathic misdirection and camouflage. The partisans make recordings ahead in time and leave the recordings to be picked up by control stations, while they are free for a few seconds to organize underground activities. Largely, the underground is made up of adventurers who intend to outthink and displace the present heads. There's been one revolution in the history of Minround. Purges are constant. Fallen heads destroyed in the ovens and replaced with others faster and sharper to evolve more total weapons. The principal weapon of Minround is, of course, heat. In the center of all cities stand the ovens, where those who disobey the control brains are brought for total disposal. A conical structure of iridescent metal shimmering heat from the molten core of a planet where lead melts at noon. The brass and copper streets surround the oven. Here the tinkers and smiths work, pounding out metal rhythms as prisoners and criminals are led to disposal. The oven guards are red crustacean men with eyes like the white-hot sky. Through contact with oven pain and captured enemies, they sometimes mutate to breathe in emotions. They often help prisoners to escape, and a few have escaped with the prisoners.
Place of the board books in the Death Dwarfs, a vast gray warehouse of wire mesh cubicles. Tier on tier of larval dwarfs tube-fed in bottles. The Death Dwarfs of Minrada. Operation Total Disposal. Fetal dwarfs stirred slowly and green fluid fed through a tube in the navel. Bodies compacted layer on layer of transparent sheets on which was written the message of total disposal when the host egg cracks. Death dwarfs waiting transfer to the human host. Written on the soft typewriter from the stone tablets of Minrada. When K9 entered, he felt the suffocation of Minrada crushing his chest, stopping his thoughts. Even he drying up like source, as white-hot metal lattice closed around him. In a square littered with black bones he encountered a group of 5 scorpion men, faces of transparent pink cartilage burning inside. Stinger dripping the oven poison.
Their eyes flared with electric hate.
Biologic Agent K9 called for his check and picked up Supersonic Initiation blast of the Death Dwarfs. L'addition, 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 garçon, 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 American tourist accent to the 9th power. He ordered another coffee and monitored his cafe. A whole table of them, imitating word forms and spitting back at supersonic speed. Several patrons rolled on the floor in switch fits. These noxious dwarfs can spit out a whole newspaper in 10 seconds, imitating your words after you and sliding in suggestion insults. That's the entry gimmick of the Death Dwarfs. Supersonic imitation and playback, so you think it's your own voice. Your own voice. They invade the right centers, which are the speech centers, and they are in the right. In the right. In the right. Right. I'm in the right. In the right. You know I'm in the right so long as you hear me say inside your right centers, I am in the right. While sex dwarves tenderize erogenous holes so the Venusian gook rot flash round the world. Agent K9 is with the biologic police assigned to bringing the dwarf plague under control by disconnecting the dwarfs from Central Control Station. The insect brain of Minrod enclosed in a crystal cylinder from which would run cold wires to an array of calculating machines feeding instructions to the death dwarf in the street. The brain is surrounded by crab guards charged from the thermodynamic pain and energy bank. Crab guards cannot be attacked directly since they are directly charged by a tap. K9 had been in combat with the crab guards, and he knew what can happen if they get their claws on your nerve centers. K9 left the cafe and surveying the street scene, he could not but feel that someone had goofed. The death dwarfs had in many cases been separated from the human host, but they were still charged with central control and yacked through the streets, imitating words and gestures of everyone in sight, while sex dwarves squirmed out of any corner with a perfunctory, "Hello there," and anyone who stood still for it. dissolved erogenous holes immediately attacked by the talk dwarves, so that in a few seconds the unfortunate traveler was torn to pieces, which the dwarfs snatched from each other's mouth with shrill silver screams. In fact, the noxious behavior of this life form harried the citizens beyond endurance, and everyone carried elaborate homemade contrivances for screening out the talk dwarves and a specific special plastic cover to resist erogenous acids of the sex dwarfs. Without hesitation, K9 gave the order. Release silence virus. Blanket area. So the silent sickness flashed round the world at the speed of light. As a result, many citizens, who had been composed entirely of word, went ape straight away and screamed through the streets, attacking the passers-by, who in many cases went ape in turn as the silence sickness hit. To combat these conditions described as intolerable, political leaders projected stern noble image from control towers, and some could occupy and hold up the ape forms for a few days or weeks. Invariably, the leader was drained by the gravity of unregenerate apes, torn in pieces by his relapsing constituents, or went ape himself on TV. So the survivors, as they called themselves, lived in continual dread of resistant dwarfs, always more frantic with host hunger, knowing that at any minute the men might, next to you in the street, might go mandrill and leap you through your throat with virginal canines. Canine shrugged and put in a call for technicians. Error in enemy strategy is now obvious. It was a machine strategy. Machine can't be redirected. Have written connection in the soft typewriter. Machine can only repeat your instructions, since it cannot create anything. The operation is very limited.
Lock them out and block the door, bar them out forevermore.
As he walked past the Saragossa cafe, black insect flak of Minrod stabbed at his vitality centers. Two lesbian agents with glazed faces of grafted penis flesh sat sipping spinal fluid through alabaster straws. He threw up a silent scream, and gray fog drifted through the cafe. The deadly silence virus, coating word patterns, stopping abdominal breathing holes of the insect people of Minrod. Cut, shift, tangle. Stop word holes. He did not stop or turn around, never look back. He had been a professional killer so long, he did not remember anything else. Uranian born of Nova conditions. You have to be free to remember, and he was under sentence of death in maximum security birth-death universe. So he sounded the words that end word. Word dust everywhere now, like soiled stucco on the buildings. Word dust without color, drifting smoke streets. Explosive bio-advance out of space to neon. At the bottom of the stairs, Uranian Willie engaged an oven guard. His flesh shrank, feeling insect claws under the terrible dry heat. Trapped, cut off in that soulless place. Prisoner eaten alive by white-hot ants. With a split second to spare, he threw his silver blast and caught the nitrous fumes of burning film as he walked through the door where the guard had stood. Shift linguals. Free doorways. Gut word lines. Photo falling. Word falling.